It's the last of the beer series, Alcohol Free from Coast, and this one is just called IPA, but it has the hops of Simcoe, Citra and Mosaic. This is alcohol free, 100 calories. What's it going to be tasting like? Any good? Check out the review to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to be reviewing this beer from Coast. It's the third beer from Coast that we've tried this week. This is called just simply IPA. It's an IPA coming at 0.0%, 100 calories a can. The last two, I'm still a bit undecided about them. The Sabro definitely had the taste of Sabro, had that sort of coconutty pineapple flavour, but very, very low key dial back. The second one we won was Idaho 7. Again, it's not really a hop I know loads about. It has usually that piney resinous, usually with stone fruits, a bit of tropical fruits. A sort of, it's one of those sort of hops that has quite a few different profiles really. But for me, very piney with a very slight hint of grapefruit. This one has got, some of your traditional sort of hops, Simcoe, Citra, Mosaic. You get them in New England IPAs. So let's see what this one's going to be like, shall we? Let's get it out of the can, into the glass, and see what we're going to have. I mean, they've all been pretty similar in colour. This one looks no exception. So we get a light yellowy sort of, just a very slight haze, but generally fairly light and clear. We've got 2 fingers of head on this one. Yeah, looks pretty much like all the others. Let's see what it smells like. Yeah, I've been getting a bit more of those sort of tropical sort of notes, pineapple, bit of stone fruit even. I'm even getting a little bit of peach in there as well. I've got high hopes for this. Let's try it. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, I can definitely recognise those sort of hop combinations. Citra and Mosaic use Simcoe. They use very, very commonly together. They just seem to work together. Again, it's a little bit softer than the others. You don't have that sort of bitingness, but there is that slightly sweetness that doesn't really taste real, that artificial sweetness at the front. But then you get a nice sort of tropical, sort of a bit of a punch bowl of flavour, really. Not one thing over the other. You can get pineapple is probably a bit of the stronger of the flavours in there. Pineapple, bit of mango, bit of passion fruit in there. Subtleness of grapefruit, a bit of citrus. I mean, it's got all those sort of flavour profiles that you would expect from an IPA, but just dialed down to sort of 0, basically. It has a very light and sort of almost watery flavour. You can pick out some of those, but again, with these alcohol-free beers, a lot of the big flavours is a sort of lemony, sort of almost like a sort of a very citrusy, piney lemonness, really, and that's again what you get in here. I would say in terms of the mouthfeel, it's a little bit better than the other two, a bit softer. It's trying, but when you're tasting it, this is an alcohol-free beer. It's not a super sessionable IPA. There's definitely those flavours. And I think the biggest thing is, with all 3 of these Coast beers, is that you are picking up the hops that are in there. You get in Simcoe, Citra, Mosaic, commonly used hops. With the other alcohol-free ones we had the Beavertown, we had American Pale Ale. They sort of had a beer flavour, and that was about it, and a lemony beer flavour. That was it. You couldn't really pick out anything else. And certainly there was one thing about these beers is you are definitely picking up tropical notes. With a lot of the other ones, you were just getting pretty much a lemony flavour. So that's to be applauded, that you are actually getting some of those hop profiles, as I say, those pop hopels, but that doesn't make sense. Hop profiles into the beer, which is pretty good. I mean, yes, they all look the same. They're all very, you could line all these up and you would find it difficult. Yep, we're getting those sort of slight tropical sort of aromas, and the taste is pretty much the same, just dialed right back. I think the question is, if you want to drink something that reminds you of a craft beer, these are good examples. If you want to drink, but if you like me, that's trying to sort of have less alcohol and less calories mainly, I still feel that I would rather have, instead of having four of these, I'd rather have two normal beers, because I think you just get more of the flavour. You almost got to drink the whole can, and you think, I haven't got the flavours there. They're just so dialed back. I mean, I do like a pale ale, but I'd rather, if I had a choice of a pale ale and IPA, I'm always going to go for an IPA, just because I think the flavour's that much fuller. Pale ale, sometimes you can get some nicer sort of flavour profiles, but generally dial bit back. Session IPA is the same. You know when you've had a good one, because you get a bit more of that flavour. We had a recent session IPA that was 4% from the Beer 52 box. And for a 4% beer, had a lot more flavour in it than a standard sessionable IPA. I don't think that any of these alcohol-free beers, wherever you're going to have them, you'll taste one and go, my God, it's like drinking a real beer. I can get all that flavour in there. Because it's just impossible. I just don't think it's actually physically possible. Yes, we've come a long way with these. Yes, they don't all taste the same. They look the same, but they don't really taste the same. You do get those hot profiles within there, and obviously, if you know those sort of hot profiles, and you like, say, Idaho, or you like Citra and Mosaic in your beers, you'll get something from this. You will get those flavours, but you almost drink it going, yeah, but they're so dialed back as to the point where I'd rather just have a real beer. And that's the thing, if you want to cut back on your beer, that's fine. But, do you want to sacrifice so much in flavour? I'm not going to be doing lots of low alcohol beers. I'm probably not going to do any. I don't even know. I might do one or two if I see anything different. But for me, they are very similar. They're similar in mouthfeel, similar in looks. They have that sort of very watery profile, very sort of almost like you've taken a craft beer and you've mixed it with a pint of water and then you've drank it. I mean, it'd be interesting to see whether that tastes the same. I would rather drink less beer but get full flavours, to be honest. I don't know what everyone else thinks. Let me know in the comments though, because have you had some alcohol-free beers this month? Tried anywhere you feel that you've got more out of them? Maybe if you had, if you were wanting to cut down on your alcohol that you're drinking, maybe you have a proper beer, then you have an alcohol-free one, then you have a normal one, and maybe as the sort of evening goes on, you get that same sort of enjoyment, but you've drank less. So I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is there a way that we can drink normal beer, which is more healthy? I mean, could we not get? I tell you what, I would like. Could you get a 6-7% beer, but is low alcohol? Because that for me is what I'm really looking for. I don't drink huge amounts of alcohol. I don't binge 10 pints. Those days are long gone, really. But I might like one or two beers a night. So if there was a beer that was lower in calories, I'm all up for that. Anyone knows any beers like that? Please let me know. The other thing is, I wonder, and I am just sort of thinking out loud here, is that maybe I've tried to do the craft beers, your IPAs and pale ales. I wonder whether the alcohol-free lagers, for example, and I know that all the sort of big brands do an alcohol-free version, whether there's more flavour in those as well. Let me know in the comments. If you want me to try one and review it, then I'm happy to do that. And until the next one, keep on rocking.